on Carolina News. The summer heat wave is lasting a little bit longer than usual. How is this affecting our farmers? Yoga for moms. How are new moms benefiting from postnatal yoga classes? And The Joker is hitting the box office this weekend. But why are people worried about it coming to a theater near them? All of this and more. Carolina News begins now.
From the University of South Carolina, your news, your sports, your weather. Carolina News begins now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Rose Catherine James.
Hello everyone, I'm Emily Acey. The country has been experiencing some extended summer heat, but what does this mean for us and our locals? Carolina News' Madison Thiel is finding out the impacts this could have on our crops and how long this may last.
We are already into October and the heat has not let up. Gary Stay, a farmer from Spartanburg, South Carolina, sums up these high temperatures in just a couple words.
Hot and dry, bad. Need rain, water.
Gary comes to the South Carolina State Farmers Market every chance he gets during the crop season, but he says that this year has been a bit more difficult for his crops and for himself.
So you get tired and thirsty and, it drains you down. Kind of like a battery, it just drains you.
He comes to sell his tomatoes, okra, muscadines, and more, but he says his business just can't keep up in the heat, and his crops just aren't looking the same. These farmers come from all around South Carolina, and although their baskets are full, they say their crops should be twice this size. However, Jeff Linton, a meteorologist for the National Weather Service, did have some good news.
I believe the main thing is it looks like we're finally going to get a break from the heat, and that's going to begin on Saturday. And it looks like the near normal temperatures will probably continue for a week or so.
Linton's job is to send weather forecasts to most of the news stations around South Carolina. He says although it's early to tell, he believes we'll be feeling fall weather really soon. And for Gary, that sounds pretty good. Yep. For Carolina News, I'm Madison Thiel.
Hopefully we get a break soon from this heat.
I completely agree. Thankfully, Lindsay Thorpe has a little more information on what weather we can look forward to.
Thanks guys in the studio, and yeah, Maddie, it is disgustingly hot outside right now. We're borderline 100 degrees for the 3rd of October. Now tomorrow, we're not going to see any changes in the weather. It's still going to be record-breaking heat for early October. However, looking into the weekend, we're going to drop around 20 degrees where we're finally going to start feeling like fall weather. So if you guys have any plans for this weekend, please get outside, enjoy the weather, do some fall activities, and have so much fun. Now I'll have more on your weather update later in the show. Back to you guys in the studio.
The FBI has released this year's crime statistics for the Midlands. In Richland County, crimes have increased 3.7%, while murder and manslaughter jumped up 17%. There are 1,606 total aggravated assaults, with an increase of 6% in the last year. This data only includes crimes that are actually reported to law enforcement. A hotel in Casey is having its business license suspended after management refused to call authorities. The decision to shut down the hotel came after authorities of Casey's Department of Public Safety listened to a 911 call from a domestic violence victim. The victim says that management at the hotel refused to call the police on her behalf. A hotel worker says this is not true and management did offer to help the victim, but the victim left the premises. The hotel will have its court hearing later in the month to determine if the business license will be permanently revoked.
Great news for Batman fans. It's the opening weekend for the new movie Joker starring Joaquin Phoenix. But the violent scenes aren't what many theaters are shying away from. Carolina News' Taylor Hicks is live to tell us more about what theaters are wanting to stay in the dark.
I'm outside of Regal Columbia Cinema, where the Joker is playing right now. Now, this movie has sparked a lot of controversy because of the 2012 mass shooting that occurred in Aurora, Colorado, during the screening of Batman: The Dark Knight Rises. People are concerned that this may spark another shooting similar to the one in Aurora, Colorado.
One small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
You may be familiar with one of the most popular DC anti-heroes, the Joker. Film and media assistant professor Mark Manette discusses the evolution of character from comics to the big screen.
So the Joker first appeared in the early Batman stories in the late 30s, early 40s, and has sort of persisted as his main villain throughout the history of the character.
Criminal prankster to criminal mastermind, the Joker's character has only darkened as adults have become the target audience for this genre. Writer and director Todd Phillips brought Gotham to the Big Apple and created an origin story that deviates from those seen in comics to develop a more realistic character.
It seems like it places the character within sort of like gritty 70s New York sort of milieu, right, of violence and grit and grime, which is a legitimate, what I call a legitimating tactic, right, which is to make it seem more realistic. You place the story in like a dirty world.
Since the trailer's release, there have been multiple mass shooting threats made on social media. Some people say that this movie should not be played in theaters because of the violence that it might inspire. But others say that the media is giving people something to worry about.
I think statements about potential media effects tend to be overclaiming, overblown, and sort of exploited by the mass media to produce stories and by politicians to explain things rather than take action on actual underlying issues.
While some theaters will not be showing this movie, Columbia theaters will. Now, I talked with CPD and they told me that they will have extra duty officers to be just making sure everybody's okay today and the rest of this weekend. Reporting live from Regal Cinema, I'm Taylor Hicks.
2 teens are being charged in making separate threats to 2 Lexington County schools. A 13-year-old who goes to Carolina Springs Middle School said he was going to shoot up the school then shoot himself, while a 12-year-old at Pine Ridge Middle School took to social media to say he was going to shoot another student. Both of the boys have been released to their parents after being charged. They are scheduled to appear in court at a later date.
Multiple law enforcement agencies across the U.S. have partnered with security company Ring. Richland and Irmo police departments are the first to team up with them as the Midlands has encouraged residents to use the new Neighbors app. The app allows residents to anonymously post about crimes happening around the neighborhood. It also allows police to ask about crimes and ask
like a neighborhood
for help
watch,
with investigations.
Just digital. So they're already communicating with people within their neighborhoods, their streets, their subdivisions, and now they're happy that they're able to provide this information to us.
The app is completely free and users can voluntarily submit surveillance videos. You can download the Neighborhood app on Apple and Android app stores, respectively. When you think of animal-assisted therapy, you probably think of dogs.
But according to counseling.org, the second most common therapy animal is a horse. What's it like having a dog as your therapy animal versus a horse? Elena Barilla has more.
Sometimes animals do what people can't.
He knows when I'm having a good day, a bad day, he's coming to see you now.
Pop up hug. That's a boy. So he can give you a hug.
Physical therapist Bethany Clark says some of her patients are afraid of people in scrubs. Her facility dog, Chiver, helps.
Bringing a dog in the room kind of puts the kids at ease. They feed off of his calmness.
Chiver's help and play exercises.
Pop up, push. Yes.
Has kids willingly going back to the hospital. Anybody who walks through the door will feel loved because dogs don't discriminate.
They don't care what you've done in your life or, if you failed at something, they love you no matter what.
Anybody could connect with a dog, but what about animal-assisted therapy with a horse?
Owner of Barnabas Horse Foundation, Susan McKinney says connection with the horse is not as simple.
You could tell me all day long that you're doing fine, and inside you could be in such turmoil. A horse is going to call bologna sandwich on it, and they're going to move away from you.
Their fight, flight, or freeze instincts will mirror whether they feel safe around you. And it's all about building a trusting relationship.
He acknowledged me, so that's one of the things that when I wait for them to give me permission to touch them.
The stable's location is kept secret because some of McKinney's clients are victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, or traumatic experiences. That trusting relationship is the ultimate factor in the healing process.
Everything we do on the farm is about teaching our clients how to have healthy, connected relationships, first with themselves, then with their horse, and then they take that out into what we call Humanville.
McKinney credits strong relationships with horses to her own family's healing after tragedy struck, calling this horse her heart horse.
There are certain horses that just pull at your horse strings. For me, he is one of them.
Of course, sometimes an instant connection is important too.
He picks up when people have bad days and he is like straight to them and sits next to them like, I'm gonna hang out with you for a minute because you need it.
And at the end of the day, no matter how long that relationship takes,
it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and all the stress factors where you just have a quiet moment where you can kind of connect with another being. It's great.
They both have your back.
Hi, big guy.
For Carolina News, I'm Elena Barilla.
Shiver is celebrating his third anniversary with Prisma Health Children's Hospital in October.
You can learn more about Barnabas Horse Foundation at barnabashorse.org. Coming up next on Carolina News, CBD is getting new guidelines that may change the way you use it. Find out more after the break. Welcome back to Carolina News. The Arthritis Foundation released the first ever guidelines for using CBD. The foundation conducted a survey and found out that people with arthritis want to learn more about CBD. The guidelines suggest starting with a low dosage of CBD oil and slowly increasing it until you feel a difference, finding a reputable company that verifies a third party has tested the product, and not stopping to take already medicine prescribed by your doctor. To find out more information, you can go online to arthritis.org.
Life after giving birth can be a challenge for some moms, not just with their new baby, but with allowing their bodies to recover as well. Dara Khalid has more on how local yoga studio is helping moms get back on their feet.
Your hands through heart center on your exhale.
Post-pregnancy can be a difficult transition for many women, but Kyla Safir has made it her mission to make it as smooth as possible for new moms.
So one of the main goals is to have them take time for themselves, to be able to relax and have a little bit of downtime for themselves.
Through the postnatal yoga classes that she teaches at the Rooted Community Yoga Studio, she helps the women get in touch with their bodies again through various healing stretches.
All these twists we do, they help your uterus get back into its previous shape.
Kyla understands how physically exhausting post-pregnancy is and how it truly takes a toll on their bodies.
You're doing a lot of forward folding, holding baby, pushing strollers, nursing. So we need to have all those muscles back in place and strong to help support early motherhood.
So with each position, she gently guides the mothers and helps them restore certain parts of their bodies that have changed.
So a lot of your core muscles and back muscles become weak. And so one of the big benefits of postnatal yoga is to re-strengthen.
Not only do postnatal yoga classes help with healing abdominal muscles, renewing energy, and rebuilding the spine, but they create a sense of community for the mothers who attend.
So having a place to go and meet people and be together has been a really good emotional health thing for me to do.
When the women come to the classes, they get to check in on each other, share their motherhood journeys, and even get mommy advice.
It's really meant a lot to me, and it's been so nice to have other moms that you can ask for suggestions or are you going through this too? Is this normal?
As much as Jacqueline loves the classes for herself, she knows that her baby benefits as well.
It's just starting motherhood in a healthy way for me and a healthy way for my baby.
One thing is for sure, no matter how far post-pregnancy these women get, they'll always have a place called home amongst themselves.
For Carolina News, I'm Dara Khalid.
In order to help moms fully recover from pregnancy, they can continue coming to the Rooted Community Yoga Studio with their new babies. Postnatal classes are every Thursday morning at 8:30 until November 21st. The former Dallas police officer Amber Geiger has been sentenced to 10 years for killing her neighbor, Botham Jean, in his home. The sentence left Jean's family in shock. Jean's brother spoke directly to Geiger and said that he had one request before she was taken to jail.
I love you as a person, and I don't wish anything bad on you. I don't know if this is possible, but can I give her a hug, please? Please?
Judge Kemp agreed, and Geiger's attorney called it humbling and the most amazing moment he had ever seen in a courtroom. In a rare move, Judge Kemp also hugged Amber Geiger.
Sports Illustrated is expecting layoffs after being sold for the second time in 2 years. Sports Illustrated, which is now owned by Authentic Brand, could see 40 positions cut this week. The cuts are due in part to changing media habits, such as cord cutting. 150 years is being celebrated with 150 feet. In celebration of the State Fair's anniversary, a new Ferris wheel is being shipped in. Standing at 150 feet tall, the Ferris wheel is as tall as the Statue of Liberty from the bottom to the top. It also comes complete with air-conditioned gondolas. It took 20 semi-trucks to move the entire structure, which was shipped straight from the Netherlands to Colombia. It's making its North American debut next week. If you'd like to take a ride, fair tickets are $10 at the door and parking is $5. Well, I was expecting some cooler weather, but it's fine, I guess, if I get to wear shorts to the fair.
Oh, I know, right? And when we come back, Lindsay Thorpe will be able to tell us just what to expect.
Hey guys, I'm still here on the Horseshoe right now where it's still 100 degrees outside. So if you guys are walking to class or you guys are outside today, please stay hydrated. Better than that, how about you stay inside where it's cool? Now, I'm gonna have more on the weather update for you guys right after this break.
Welcome back, everyone. Lindsay is in the studio from the sweltering heat outside.
Yeah, Lindsay, how long is this heat gonna last?
So we are at a record high for the state of South Carolina in the southeast right now, almost feeling at 101 degrees. So it should only be lasting another 24 hours, hopefully. That's what the forecast is letting us know. But right now, I'll let you guys know, currently the temperature in Columbia is 99 degrees, feeling like it's 100 degrees. Not as bad with the humidity as it feels with 32%. The winds are forming west with 3 miles per hour. And right now, currently across the state of South Carolina, it is still reaching a record high for early October at 99 degrees in Columbia, high 90s throughout the entire state, and high 80s throughout the coastal Carolina. Tonight's lows are low 70s, which is the weather we would like to be feeling during the day right now. Columbia is going to be a low at 73 degrees. In Orangeburg, 70, and in Rock Hill, it's going to be 68 degrees. So tomorrow, it's not going to be much of a difference here in the state of South Carolina. We're still seeing a record high for early October, almost feeling like 100 degrees outside. It's going to be high 90s throughout the entire state and low 90s All right, so here we're seeing a little bit of a cool breeze coming in. It's going to be high pressure all the way from the west coast, pushing this hot air outside of the southeast for us so that we get to experience some cool air as it comes in. So here you can see all of the low pressure and the high pressure in the north. There was like a snowstorm all the way in Montana, reaching 52 inches of snow in Montana. And that's pushing the heat outside of the southeast for us right now. So the 5-day forecast, right now, it is mostly sunny out right now with a high of 98 degrees and a low of 69. Tomorrow and throughout the entire weekend, we're going to see a difference in the weather. Tomorrow is going to be 76 and partly cloudy throughout the weekend. And we're going to not only see 90s for the rest of the week, but just 80s. So that's about what we have right now for the week of forecast.
Well, Lindsay, I definitely can't wait for the cooler weather. When we get back, Brandon Weeks is going to tell you all about the Thursday night football game tonight that will feature a former Gamecock and more. Sports is next when Carolina News returns.
My little girl loves to play outdoors. It's just too hard to keep her inside. I really don't have enough time to play with her, and she cries if I don't let her out. She does bring home some disgusting things. I don't know what she gets up to while she's gone, but she always comes back.
You wouldn't treat your child this way. Why is it okay for your cat? Please, be responsible. Keep your cat indoors.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to Carolina News. It's a bye week for the Gamecocks, but we know that there are plenty of games happening this weekend.
Brandon, what do we have to look forward to?
We've got a lot going on. Let's get right into it. It's Thursday night. Football on the start of Week 5 of the NFL should be an exciting one. The high-powered offense of the Los Angeles Rams take on the revamped Seahawks, fueled by great play from veteran quarterback Russell Wilson. The Rams are coming off a loss to the Buccaneers in a game that saw close to 100 points scored between the two teams, while the Seahawks are coming off a big win against the Cardinals as former Gamecock Jadeveon Clowney had a very nice game in which he had the interception that he returned all the way for a touchdown. The matchup should be good in Seattle. Sticking with football, fantasy football players that have Melvin Gordon on their team finally have something to be excited about. The Pro Bowl running back has been away from the team and all team facilities since June, but he says he's happy to be back.
I feel good, man. I missed the guys, been away from them for a while. We all like brothers, so, it's good, being back. Someone giving me a hard time as expected.
Gordon was the number 6 running back last year for fantasy points, and now that he's coming off his rookie contract this year, he feels that he should be one of the highest paid in the position. This Sunday will be Gordon's first week back on the field as the Chargers take on the Broncos. Middleweight champion Robert Whittaker will face interim title holder Israel Adesanya this Saturday night in the main event of UFC 432. Adesanya is 17-0 going into the fight this Saturday, but that is not deterring Whittaker. The fight was received a lot of attention, and some are saying it could be one of the most exciting fights so far this year. The Major League postseason is underway, and we've already had some big games. The Tampa Bay Rays had an explosive game last night in the Major League wildcard game. Yandy Diaz had 2 home runs in the game that led the Rays to a 5-1 victory. Tampa Bay will now move on to face the 2017 World Series champions, the Houston Astros, in the League Division Series matchup. Braves will also take on the St. Louis Cardinals in their League Division Series matchup starting today at 5. The home of the Columbia Fireflies have received another award. Segra Park has been named Ballpark of the Decade by Ballpark Digest. The $37 million stadium was funded by the public and hopes to help develop the Bull Street District, and that is a huge step in doing so.
It's not always about, in fact, generally it's not about, how well the team performs. It's really about the experience and the people that come together 70 nights a year for baseball games.
Make sure y'all get out to that park sometime and check it out.
Most definitely. That's amazing. But still more to come on Carolina News. You have one life to live. Find out what exciting way this Ohio man decided to celebrate his 94th birthday.
We are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passions may have strained, They must not break our bonds of affection. Abraham Lincoln.
Either all of us are going to die together, or we are going to learn to live together. And if we are to live together, we have to talk. Eleanor Roosevelt.
Our differences cannot tear us apart, as long as our words have the power to bring us together. Let's change the tone in 2018. Join the movement to revive civility.
Problems. The ones nobody talks about at cocktail parties. We go looking for them. No matter the obstacles, no matter the odds, we surround a community's most critical problems, and we fight. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you?
Hi, I'm Jeff Corwin. Founded in 1877, American Humane is dedicated to the idea that all animals are entitled to humane treatment. Today, endangered species are experiencing a better quality of life because of the ethical, science-based standards established by American Humane. Teach your kids the importance of wildlife conservation by visiting humane-certified zoos and aquariums. To learn more, visit AmericanHumane.org.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Be the voice for those who cannot speak. Be the next generation that changes the world. Be the youth for wildlife.
Welcome back, everyone. To round out the show today, an Ohio man has caught everyone's eye and heart as he celebrated his 94th birthday skydiving for the first time. Paul Graham described the jump as beautiful and more than he expected. He said he was not afraid at all and explained this jump was just as much fun for him as it was for his late wife, who he says was with him the entire time. Wow, y'all.
This is so sweet.
There's one thing I'd like to do is definitely skydive.
Right?
I hope I can still skydive when I'm 94.
I know. I can't imagine doing that at that age, but good for him.
I can't imagine doing that at this age.
Yeah, she was a little scary.
So speaking of skydiving, is this weather kind of skydiving weather, or is it,
I would say so you don't get too cold up there. I mean, for the 5-day forecast, we have mostly sunny, and it's not going to change much tomorrow. However, going into the weekend, it's going to have a cool breeze, so it's going to cool down. It's going to be cloudy on the weekend, and it's going to go into the 80s throughout the week. So hopefully we don't see any more 90 weather throughout the week.
I'm ready for it to cool down.
Definitely. You want the fall weather to come.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Thanks so much for being with us.
We will see you tomorrow. Have a great evening.